Okay, so India's biggest IT services company, Tata Consultancy Services, just dropped a bombshell. They've made their clearest, boldest statement yet on artificial intelligence. And trust me, it's a big deal.
For the first time ever, TCS has publicly revealed its annual AI revenue. And what a number it is. At their recent Analyst Day, they put this on the board, $1.5 billion. Yeah, this wasn't some minor detail buried in a report. This was the headline.
But here's the thing, it's not just about the money. This isn't just another line item on the balance sheet. The company's CEO, K. Krithivasan, he framed this as a total, fundamental shift in what TCS even is. He's not talking about AI as some cool new feature. He's saying it's the company's entire next identity. All right, so $1.5 billion. That's a huge number. But what does it actually mean? Let's dig in and see just how deep this AI thing already goes for them.
And wow, the numbers really do tell the story. We're talking more than 5,500 AI projects done, globally. Get this, 54 of their top 60 clients are now AI clients. And whopping 85% of their big-ticket contracts, anything over $20 million, has AI baked in. But the real kicker? That AI revenue is growing at over 16% every single quarter. That's just blowing away the rest of the business. So yeah, AI is not some side hustle for them anymore. It's the main engine, and it's picking up speed.
Look, the money is obviously a big deal. But maybe the most revolutionary part of all this is the massive culture shift this means for a company that has, over 600,000 people? Okay, this next quote from the CEO is where my ears really perked up. For decades, right, the whole IT services game was about billing for human hours. More people on a project, more hours billed, more money. Simple. But now the CEO is on record saying they're asking what can AI do here, even if it cannibalizes their own revenue. Think about that. They're willing to automate the very work they used to bill for. That's turning their entire business model on its head.
So this slide really lays it all out, right? The past was more is more. Bill more hours, sell your team's effort, just report on the data. The future they're running towards, AI first. Automate that billable work. Sell outcomes, not just effort. And don't just report on data, reason with it. It's a complete 180.
And they're not thinking small here. TCS isn't calling this just another tech trend. No, they're calling it a civilizational shift. I mean, that's a huge statement. The idea is that we're moving from companies that are just data aware, they have the data, to companies that are context aware. That's where the software doesn't just automate a task, it actually understands the situation and suggests what to do next.
Okay, so it's one thing to sell this vision to your customers. It's another thing to live it. And this is where it gets really compelling. TCS is practicing what they preach. They're deploying this stuff aggressively inside their own company at a scale that's hard to even wrap your head around.
Just think about this number for a second. 600,000. That's how many employees they have. And all of them, every single one, now has access to internal AI tools, special models, and coding assistants to completely change how they work every day. And to get everyone on board, they didn't just send a memo. They ran what might be the world's biggest AI hackathon. You had 280,000 of their own people participating. They came up with over 500,000 different ideas and submissions. I mean, the scale of that is just insane.
And here is the ultimate proof of concept. How do you review 500,000 hackathon entries? Well, you could get a team of 90 people and have them work on it for a year. Or you could do what TCS did and have an AI review all of them. The result? The whole thing was done in just 3 weeks. This is them basically telling their clients, see, we don't just sell this stuff, we live it, we operate at this scale.
So, okay, they've transformed themselves from the inside. But how does that change what they're actually selling to customers? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. They're not just selling hours or projects anymore. They're selling autonomy. And to make this tangible for clients, they've come up with this really smart 5-level framework. It's actually inspired by the levels of self-driving cars, which is a great analogy. You start at level 1, where AI just assists a human. Then you move up the ladder. AI starts to understand context, then it can take actions with supervision, and so on, all the way up to the theoretical goal of full autonomy. And don't think this is just for slick, techie industries like banking. Nope. They're taking the same framework and applying it to really complex, heavy industries like oil and gas. Places where the machinery never stops and changing anything is a massive undertaking.
Now, if you're going to sell outcomes, you can't really charge by the hour anymore, can you? So they're changing their contracts too. They're moving to outcome-based deals. For instance, with an oil company called Weatherford, TCS literally gets a cut of the savings they generate. It's a put your money where your mouth is kind of deal. True partnership.
Okay, this all sounds pretty amazing, right? But let's be real. A pivot this big isn't easy. It comes with huge investments and some pretty serious risks that go against everything the company has been for decades. For one, they're pouring billions into building their own AI data centers. That's a huge deal for a company that has always been asset light. They're also being really honest that they can't do it all alone. So they're teaming up and fast with the big guns. We're talking Microsoft, OpenAI, NVIDIA, the whole crew.
And this really gets to the heart of matter, the big, scary question that analysts are all asking. If your whole strategy is to automate the jobs that used to make you money, how on earth do you grow? How do you make sure the new AI money comes in faster than the old human hours money disappears? That's the billion-dollar gamble right there.
So with this huge all-in bet, you have to wonder, has TCS just drawn a new line in the sand for the entire IT services industry? Let's put that number in context. That $1.5 billion is a big statement. Now, their global competitor, Accenture, did report $2.7 billion last year. But here's the really important part. None of the other big Indian IT companies have put a number out there yet. So TCS is the first one in its peer group to come out and say, here's our number. This is real.
But you know, in the end, that $1.5 billion is just a number. The real story here is the bet that TCS is making. They're betting that when it comes to AI, it's not just about having the coolest, most advanced model. It's about scale, it's about trust, and it's about being able to actually get the job done for massive companies. That's their trump card.
And so that leaves us with one final, pretty big question to think about. Is this all-in bet on an AI-first future? A future where you're willing to destroy your old business to build the new one? Is this the new blueprint for survival for the entire services industry?